Okay, 5th grade, we're on lesson 9-10, 2 lessons left in this chapter, and our target today is I can divide a whole number, 9 in this case, by a decimal, 1.2. So we have a whole number divided by a decimal. Start off by just setting up the problem. We have 9 divided by 1.2. So how many times does a 1.2 go into 9? And the first thing I think about when I look at this problem is it's hard to visualize a decimal. How many times does a 1.2 go into 9? It's just hard to visualize that kind of problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this decimal. And you can't just get rid of it. You can't just erase it. That'd be nice, but we can't do that. But we can move it. We can move it this way, and we do that by multiplying by 10. We know from a few sections ago that when you multiply by 10, it moves it that just moves the decimal point. But if we do that to this number, we have to do the same thing to this number. So we're going to move our decimal point, which would be right here, move it one spot. And since we have a blank, we're going to put that 0 in there. So our new problem, and I'm going to write it underneath so it doesn't look so messy, is 90 divided by 12. It's going to get the same answer as this one because all we did was multiply both numbers by 10. 90 divided by 12, now we don't have to mess with any decimal points. 90 divided by 12. And then after I move that decimal point, make the problem easier. I have our problem right here. After I move that decimal point, then I'm going to do my estimate. 90 divided by 12, well 12 is about 10. And 90 divided by 10 is 9. So my answer should be around 9. That's my estimate right there. Answer should be around 9. Now I'm going to set it up using long division. 90 divided by, divided by, do that whole bar thing, 12. 90 divided by 12. Change colors. First step, how many times does 12 go into 9? Can't do it. Go into 90. Well, I know that 12 times 2 is 24 times 4 would be 48, and times 8 would be 96, so that's too many. So I'm just going to go with times 4 here, and we are in the 1 spot, so I'm going to go with a 4 in my 1 spot. 4 times 12 is 48. Do the subtraction, 10, do the borrowing. 10 minus 8 is 2, 8 minus 4 is 2. Now I have 42 divided by 12. Well, I know that 12, 24, 36. So that would be 3 times. And we are still in the 1 spot right here. 12 goes into 42 3 times, and we're still in the 1 spot. 3 times 12 is 36. Do the subtraction, do the borrowing. 12 minus 6 is 6. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now how many times does 12 go into 0? Can't do it. How about go into 6? Can't do that either. We don't want to deal with remainders anymore. We want to write it as a decimal. So we're going to add that 0, but before we do that, we have to add the decimal point. Add that 0. How many times does 12 go into 60? Well, 12 times 3 we said was 36, so times 4 would be 48, and then times 5 would be 60, just adding 12 each time. So times 5, so we're going to put a 5 out here somewhere, but where are we going to put it? Well, since this line ended in the 10th spot, that 0 is in the 10th spot, we're going to put our 5 in the 10th spot. So I'm just going to write a 0.5, and this should be a 3, point something, 0.0. And then we do our 5 times 12, which is 60. And then we can see that this is going to go away. Sorry, not go away, it's going to subtract out, so we get 0 and 0, so that we're done with the problem, except for the last step, which is just adding up over here, adding up our numbers over here, and we get 4 plus 3 is 7.5. 7.5 is our answer. And then the last step that I like to do is to check with our estimate. And if I zoom out a little bit, you can see that our estimate was 9 and our answer was 7.5. So is it a reasonable answer? Yeah, it's pretty close. So I'm going to say that I'm not going to go any farther because my answer is reasonable. Now if I would have gotten 75 for my answer, that would not be close to 9. So then I might go back and check my work. But since I got a reasonable answer, I'm going to go ahead and say that's right. Not necessarily right, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's good. So that, 5th grade, is how you divide a whole number by a decimal. So just as a review, 5th grade, remember our first step that we did up here is move that decimal point in your second number so that you don't have to be dividing by decimals. And then whatever you do to this number, you have to do this number. And after that, everything else is the same as all the rest of the long division we've been doing. Don't forget to check your estimate though. Check your estimate.